Long before formal instruments existed, humans explored the world through sound. The rustle of leaves, the whisper of wind, and the gentle flow of water were more than just environmental noises. They were the first musical inspirations. Early humans listened attentively, noticing rhythm and tone in the natural world around them. Animals contributed to this early soundscape. Birds, insects, and other creatures created melodies and patterns that intrigued early listeners. Humans began to mimic these sounds, experimenting with vocalizations and gestures to echo the rhythms of nature. The body became the first instrument. Clapping hands, stomping feet, and tapping stones or surfaces produced percussive beats. These simple rhythms laid the foundation for communal music and shared expression, creating a sense of connection between participants. Natural objects were among the earliest tools for music. Pebbles, sticks, shells, and hollowed wood were struck, shaken, or scraped to produce distinct sounds. Even without formal design, these objects allowed humans to explore volume, tempo, and resonance. Water offered its own musical contributions. Splashing, dripping, or flowing water created continuous, soothing rhythms. Early humans often integrated these ambient sounds into their daily life, recognizing patterns and responding through vocal or physical imitation. Wind passing through reeds, caves, or hollow branches produced haunting tones. These organic wind instruments fascinated early listeners, encouraging experimentation with pitch and modulation. Through such exploration, humans began to perceive sound as both expressive and functional. Vocal experimentation extended beyond mimicry. Humans learned to modulate pitch, rhythm, and tone, creating chants and early songs. These vocalizations were often simple, repetitive, and rhythmic, forming the earliest recognizable musical structures. Early music served practical purposes as well. Rhythmic sounds helped coordinate work, hunting, and communal tasks. A shared rhythm could unify movement, signal intentions, or maintain group cohesion, showing that music was intertwined with everyday survival. Emotions were communicated through sound. Joy, fear, excitement, or mourning were expressed with voice and rhythm, creating an emotional language that transcended words. Music became a tool for storytelling and social connection, laying the groundwork for cultural expression. Children observed and learned these sounds naturally, mimicking elders, experimenting with objects, and responding to environmental cues. They absorbed the rhythms of their surroundings. This early learning ensured that musical knowledge was passed down through generations. Seasonal and environmental changes influenced sound exploration. Rain, storms, and shifting winds created dynamic soundscapes, encouraging humans to adapt and respond creatively. Through this interaction, the perception of music became intertwined with the natural world. Even today, the first sounds remind us that music is universal. By listening to nature, exploring rhythm, and engaging with our environment, humans continue to connect with the ancient roots of musical expression. The journey from the first sounds to structured instruments shows that music is as old as curiosity itself. Long before instruments were crafted, the human voice was the first and most versatile musical tool. Early humans discovered that by varying pitch, tone, and rhythm, they could create melodies that conveyed emotion and meaning. Vocal sounds became a natural way to interact with the world and with each other. Chants and calls were among the earliest forms of vocal music. Repetitive sounds helped humans synchronize activities, communicate across distances, and establish a sense of unity within a group. These patterns often mimicked the rhythms found in nature, creating harmony with the surrounding environment. Imitation played a key role. Early humans learned by copying the songs of birds, the calls of animals, and the sounds of water and wind. Through repetition and experimentation, they developed unique vocal patterns that became recognizable forms of early music. Vocalization was also a tool for emotional expression. Joy, Fear, excitement, and mourning were conveyed through tone and rhythm. These early songs allowed communities to share feelings collectively, strengthening social bonds and providing comfort in times of uncertainty. Storytelling and oral traditions relied heavily on voice. Before writing existed, humans used chants, rhymes, and melodic phrases to remember events, myths, and lessons. Music and narrative were inseparable, making the voice a crucial instrument for preserving culture. Call and response techniques emerged naturally. One person would sing or chant, and others would reply in harmony or echo the rhythm. This interactive pattern created participation, cooperation, and a sense of communal involvement that strengthened relationships. Children absorbed vocal expression intuitively, imitating adults, experimenting with pitch, and repeating chants helped them learn the social, emotional, and cultural significance of sound. This early engagement ensured the continuation of musical traditions. Vocal sounds were adapted to practical needs as well. Hunters, gatherers, and workers used rhythmic chants to coordinate actions, maintain morale, and create predictable patterns that guided physical activity efficiently. Ritual and spirituality were deeply connected to vocal music. Singing at ceremonies, celebrations, or communal gatherings provided a sacred rhythm to life. The voice became a bridge between humans, nature, and the unseen forces they revered. Variation in tone and pitch allowed early humans to explore more complex musical ideas. Subtle differences in vibration, length, and repetition formed the foundation of melodies that would evolve into structured songs over generations. Communal singing reinforced memory. Repetition of melodic lines, choruses, and simple rhythms helped groups retain knowledge and cultural stories, ensuring that vocal expression was both educational and unifying. Even today, the human voice remains a powerful instrument. Singing, humming, and chanting continue to connect people, evoke emotion, and create harmony, showing that vocal expression is one of the oldest and most enduring forms of music. Before crafted instruments existed, the human body was a natural source of rhythm and sound. Clapping hands, stomping feet, snapping fingers, and tapping surfaces allowed early humans to explore musical expression using only themselves. The body became both the tool and the medium for creating music. Percussion was the earliest form of body music. By striking hands against thighs, palms together, or feet against the ground, humans discovered ways to produce steady beats. These rhythms could accompany movement, work, or communal activities, uniting participants in coordinated action. Stomping served practical purposes as well. Hunters and gatherers often used foot rhythms to maintain pace, signal direction, or coordinate effort during collective tasks. The sound of movement became a subtle form of communication, intertwined with musical expression. Clapping offered both auditory and social benefits. Repetitive patterns reinforced group cohesion, created energy, and allowed participants to interact without words. Through these gestures, early humans experienced the first collaborative music making. The body also explored pitch and resonance. By cupping hands, vocalizing while tapping, or stomping on different surfaces, humans noticed variations in sound. Experimentation with tone allowed the discovery of dynamic possibilities beyond simple beats. Dance naturally emerged alongside body percussion. Movements synchronized with claps, stomps, or snaps created an immersive experience, blending rhythm, motion, and social interaction. Dance and body music became inseparable components of early communal life. Children quickly engaged in body music. Imitating adults, they clapped, stomped, and tapped with curiosity. Learning rhythm and timing intuitively, these activities fostered coordination, social awareness, and an early appreciation for sound. Body percussion also complemented vocal music. Chants and calls were often accompanied by hand beats or foot stomps, adding layers and depth. This combination of voice and body produced some of the first multidimensional musical experiences. Natural surfaces enhanced body music. Stones, logs, hollow floors, and tree trunks provided variation in tone and resonance. Humans discovered how interaction with the environment could amplify or change the sounds they created. Rituals and ceremonies heavily relied on body instruments. The collective clapping, stomping, and movement of participants contributed to a shared rhythm, heightening emotion, focus, and unity within the group. Emotional expression was enriched through body music. Joy, excitement, or urgency could be communicated not only through voice, but also through rhythm, creating a powerful and direct connection between participants. Even today, body percussion remains a fundamental and universal form of music. Clapping, stomping, and movement continue to accompany songs, celebrations, and communal experiences, reminding us that our bodies themselves are timeless instruments. Before the invention of complex instruments, humans discovered that objects from their surroundings could create sound. Pebbles, sticks, shells, and hollow pieces of wood became some of the earliest tools for music, transforming everyday materials into channels of rhythm and tone. These simple objects allowed early humans to explore sound in ways that the voice or body alone could not, providing both novelty and a sense of control over auditory expression. By striking, scraping, or shaking these objects, humans began to recognize patterns, repetitions, and combinations that produced pleasing or meaningful effects. Rocks were among the first musical objects. Striking two stones together produced a sharp, resonant sound that could vary depending on size, shape, and material. Early humans discovered that rhythmic sequences could be created with these stones, offering not only a source of musical enjoyment, but also a practical tool for signaling or coordinating group activities. Over time, certain stones were intentionally selected for their tonal quality, demonstrating an early understanding of timbre and resonance. Sticks and branches provided further versatility. By tapping on the ground, hollow logs, or each other, humans created a wide range of percussive sounds. Hollow sticks amplified noise, and striking them against different surfaces produced distinct rhythms. The flexibility of sticks allowed experimentation with tempo, intensity, and patterns, encouraging collaboration when multiple participants joined in. These simple tools made it possible for music to move beyond the body, introducing layers of complexity and shared experience. Shells offered both visual and auditory appeal. Blowing through or striking shells created unique sounds, sometimes high-pitched or hollow, that were different from percussive objects. Shells were portable and could be carried across distances, making them useful not only for music, but also for signaling and ceremonial purposes. Their use demonstrates early humans' creativity in finding instruments in nature and adapting them to cultural needs. Hollowed wood and gourds became early resonators, producing deep, rich tones that could carry over long distances. Early humans discovered that materials could amplify or modify sound, teaching them that music was not just about rhythm, but also about tone, pitch, and resonance. This experimentation marked the beginning of deliberate instrument design, laying the foundation for future developments in music making. Shaking and rattling objects introduced new dimensions to sound. Pebbles inside hollow reeds or gourds created sustained, percussive vibrations. These instruments could accompany vocalizations, chants, or dances, enriching communal activities and allowing multiple layers of music to coexist. Humans learned to coordinate these sounds with movement and voice, creating early ensemble performances that required attention and cooperation. Experimentation with striking surfaces expanded musical understanding. Stones or sticks on hard ground produced a different timbre than on soft earth or wood, allowing early humans to explore contrast and variation. They became attuned to how different combinations of materials and techniques affected auditory outcomes, fostering creativity and problem-solving in musical expression. Children and apprentices learned through observation and imitation. Watching adults tap, scrape, or shake objects, young humans began experimenting themselves, discovering rhythms, beats, and sounds in playful ways. These early lessons ensured that musical knowledge and techniques were passed down through generations, becoming a shared cultural inheritance. Rituals and ceremonies often relied on these tools. The sounds of sticks striking stones, shells resonating, or gourds rattling could signal the start of an event, enhance rhythm during dances, or mark transitions within communal activities. Early humans intuitively understood that objects could amplify the emotional and social impact of music. Environmental awareness shaped the use of tools. Humidity, temperature, and surface conditions all affected how objects sounded. Early humans learned to choose or adapt materials to produce desired effects, demonstrating a sophisticated interaction between environment and artistic intention. The combination of body and tool produced rich musical experiences. Clapping, stomping, and tapping objects together allowed early humans to create layered soundscapes that were both rhythmic and melodic. The drum is one of the oldest and most universal musical instruments, appearing in countless cultures around the world. Long before metal and synthetic materials existed, early humans discovered that stretching animal skins over hollowed wood, gourds, or large shells produced deep, resonant sounds that could be heard across distances. These first drums were not just musical instruments. They were tools for communication, signaling, and communal bonding, connecting people through rhythm and shared experience. Early drums varied greatly depending on available materials and environmental conditions. In some regions, hollow logs provided a natural resonating chamber, while in others, gourds, clay, or even large shells served as makeshift drums. By striking these surfaces with hands, sticks, or bones, humans could create different volumes and timbres, exploring expressive possibilities beyond simple clapping or stomping. Each drum had a distinct personality, producing sounds unique to its shape, size, and material. Drums were often central to rituals and ceremonies. The deep reverberating sound could evoke emotion, synchronize group movements, and establish a sense of collective focus. In spiritual or communal events, drumming helped guide dances, chants, and songs, creating a rhythm that unified participants and enhanced the emotional impact of shared experiences. Rhythm was the defining feature of early drumming. By experimenting with repeated beats, humans learned to establish tempo and pattern, providing a structured framework for both vocal and movement-based music. Drums became an essential guide, allowing communities to coordinate actions during work, hunting, or celebrations. The simple act of keeping time with a drum laid the foundation for more complex musical structures in the future. The drum also served as a communication tool. Across open landscapes, its sound could convey messages, warnings, or announcements over long distances. In this way, drumming was both practical and musical, blending functionality with creativity and demonstrating the versatility of early percussion. Children and novices learned drumming through imitation and play. They experimented with sticks, palms, and objects to create patterns, discovering that altering force, speed, or location produced varying tones. This hands-on learning ensured that drumming techniques and traditions were passed down naturally within communities, becoming a shared cultural skill. Drums were often paired with other instruments and body percussion. Combining voice, clapping, stomping, and melodic instruments with drum beats produced layered music that enriched rituals, dances, and communal gatherings. Early humans discovered that drums could anchor multiple sounds, providing a rhythmic backbone for more complex performances. Environmental factors influenced drumming practices. Weather, temperature, and the type of surface beneath a drum affected resonance and tone, encouraging experimentation and adaptation. Humans learned to adjust their technique, striking with different intensities or using various materials to achieve desired effects. Emotion and expression were integral to drumming. Fast, sharp beats could evoke excitement or urgency, while slow, steady rhythms created calm or reflective moods. Drums became a tool for storytelling, emotional communication, and social cohesion, showing that percussion was more than mere noise. It was a language of rhythm. Cultural significance of drums extended beyond music. In some societies, drums symbolized authority, spirituality, or connection to ancestors. They were considered sacred objects, used in rituals to invoke protection, guidance, or celebration, intertwining music with meaning and tradition. Over time, drumming techniques evolved. Humans experimented with multiple drum sizes, different striking implements, and complex rhythms, laying the foundation for ensemble playing and polyrhythms. This experimentation demonstrated the deep creativity inherent in early percussion. Even today, the drum remains a cornerstone of music across cultures. From ceremonial use to modern bands, its rhythmic power continues to connect people, evoke emotion, and anchor musical expression, reminding us of the drum's timeless role in human history and the enduring fascination with rhythm. Wind instruments were among the earliest ways humans transformed the natural world into music. Long before crafted flutes and pipes, early humans discovered that air passing through hollow reeds, branches, or bones could create melodic sounds. By blowing, whistling, or shaping their breath, they explored tone, pitch, and resonance, uncovering a new dimension of musical expression that complemented voice and percussion. Hollow bones, often from birds or large animals, were some of the first wind instruments. By carefully shaping openings and varying the breath, early humans could produce sustained tones that carried across distances. These sounds were used not only for music, but also for signaling, hunting coordination, and ceremonial purposes, demonstrating the versatility of simple wind instruments. Natural reeds and hollow stems became essential tools for melody. When air passed through these tubular objects, it produced distinct pitches that could be controlled by finger placement or breath intensity. Experimenting with reeds allowed humans to explore patterns of notes and intervals, laying the groundwork for scales and tonal systems in the future. Flutes made from wood or bamboo added expressive possibilities. By carving holes and adjusting length, early humans learned to create more precise pitches and varied melodies. These instruments were portable, easy to play, and often used in both daily life and ritual contexts, providing a bridge between practicality and art. Wind instruments were closely tied to storytelling and ritual. Their haunting, ethereal sounds could accompany songs, dances, and chants, enhancing emotion and atmosphere. In ceremonies, the voice often intertwined with wind instruments, creating layered and immersive soundscapes that resonated with participants both physically and spiritually. Children were naturally drawn to wind instruments. Simple whistles or hollow reeds provided immediate auditory feedback, encouraging experimentation with breath, pitch, and rhythm. Through play, they learned the principles of melody and sound production, ensuring that musical skills were passed down across generations. Seasonal and environmental conditions influenced wind instrument use. Breezes, temperature, and humidity affected how air moved through natural tubes, prompting early humans to adjust technique and design. This sensitivity to surroundings helped refine the art of sound production in a natural context. Wind instruments often complemented percussion and body rhythm. Combining drum beats, claps, stomps, and wind melodies created complex and engaging music for communal events. Early humans discovered that the interplay between rhythm and melody enriched both ceremonial and recreational gatherings. Emotion and storytelling were central to wind music. High, sharp tones could convey excitement or urgency, while low, sustained notes evoked calmness or reflection. These instruments allowed humans to express feelings in ways that transcended words, adding depth to social and ritual life. In some cultures, wind instruments became sacred objects, crafted carefully from specific materials and used in ceremonial contexts. They symbolized connection to ancestors, spirits, or natural forces. Music thus became intertwined with belief, ritual, and cultural identity. Innovation emerged as humans experimented with wind instruments. Adjusting length, diameter, and openings allowed a variety of notes, timbres, and effects. Early experimentation revealed that even slight modifications could dramatically change sound, demonstrating ingenuity and creativity in music making. Even today, wind instruments continue to captivate. From flutes to horns, their ability to produce melody, evoke emotion, and complement rhythm shows a deep continuity with the earliest experiments of humanity. By listening to their tones, we connect with the first steps of human musical expression, feeling the breath of history in every note. Stringed instruments marked a new chapter in the evolution of music, adding melody and harmony to the rhythmic and percussive sounds humans had already explored. Long before modern harps or guitars existed, early humans discovered that tension fibers, animal gut, or plant materials could produce sound when plucked, struck, or bowed. These simple innovations allowed for sustained tones, controlled pitch, and expressive variation, opening new possibilities for musical storytelling and communal enjoyment. The first stringed instruments were often simple, consisting of stretched fibers over wooden frames or between two fixed points. By plucking the strings, humans realized that varying tension, thickness, or length could alter the pitch, giving rise to the concept of musical notes. Even rudimentary designs offered a range of tones, encouraging experimentation and creative exploration. Early humans were fascinated by resonance. Wooden frames and hollow bodies amplified string vibrations, producing fuller, richer sounds. These resonators became an integral part of instrument design, demonstrating an intuitive understanding of acoustics and the natural amplification of sound. Stringed instruments were often used in ritual and ceremonial contexts. Their melodic qualities complemented chanting, dancing, and percussion, adding emotional depth and narrative power. Music made with strings could accompany storytelling, evoke reflection, or signal important moments during communal gatherings. Children and learners experimented freely with strings, stretching fibers, plucking different tensions, and striking resonant surfaces. Through play, they discovered variations in pitch and tone, developing an early understanding of musical scales and harmony without formal instruction. This natural learning ensured that skills and techniques passed from one generation to the next. Materials were chosen carefully. Animal gut, plant fibers, and thin wooden strips offered flexibility and durability, while hollow frames amplified sound. Early humans intuitively recognized that the combination of material and tension influenced timbre and resonance, a principle that would continue in all stringed instrument development. Stringed instruments were not only musical, but also social tools. Groups could play together, layering rhythm, melody, and harmony to produce richer textures. Ensembles allowed early humans to explore timing, coordination, and cooperative expression, enhancing communal cohesion through shared musical activity. Rhythmic plucking or strumming often accompanied movement. Dances, rituals, and work activities were synchronized with stringed music, showing that these instruments could provide both emotional expression and practical guidance. The integration of rhythm and melody enriched early communal life. Emotional expression was central to stringed music. Soft, gentle plucks could evoke calm or introspection, while rapid, forceful strums created excitement and energy. The human connection to string sounds demonstrated an innate understanding of how melody could influence mood and storytelling. Innovation emerged as humans experimented with multiple strings, tension adjustments, and varying materials. Early designs hinted at tuning systems, scales, and melodic variation, laying the foundation for more complex instruments and musical theory. Creativity and experimentation were central to this evolution. Stringed instruments often complemented wind and percussion. By combining melody, rhythm, and tonal depth, early humans created immersive soundscapes for rituals, work, and leisure. The interplay of these elements showed an understanding of harmony and musical layering long before formal notation existed. Even today, stringed instruments remain vital to music across cultures. From simple lyres to modern guitars and harps, they connect us to the earliest explorations of tone and resonance, reminding us that the human desire to create melody is timeless, intuitive, and deeply rooted in our shared history. Music and ritual have been intertwined since the earliest days of human culture. Long before written language, humans used sound to mark significant moments, honor the unseen, and connect with both the community and the natural world. Chants, drumming, vocalizations, and primitive instruments became essential tools for ritual, creating an immersive experience that engaged participants physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Rituals often involved repetition and rhythm. By repeating chants, beats, or movements, communities could enter a shared state of awareness, enhancing focus and unity. The structured patterns of sound helped participants anticipate, participate, and feel connected, reinforcing both social bonds and a collective sense of meaning. Ceremonial music was often tied to life's milestones. Births, initiations, marriages, and deaths were marked by specific songs or rhythms. Providing emotional structure and guidance, music gave context to these events, helping humans process joy, grief, and transformation in a communal setting. Drums and percussion were central to many rituals. The deep, resonant sound of drums could unify a group, synchronize movement, and create a palpable energy that heightened emotional response. Rhythmic drumming often accompanied dancing, storytelling, or chanting, creating a multi-sensory experience that left a lasting impression on participants. Vocal music played a significant role as well. Singing, humming, or chanting connected participants to one another and to the environment. The human voice, modulated with pitch, tone, and volume, conveyed meaning and emotion in ways that resonated deeply, allowing rituals to become immersive experiences that transcended language. Wind and stringed instruments complemented vocal and percussive elements. Melodic tones added depth, creating atmosphere and emotional nuance. Even simple flutes or strings could transform a communal event, making it both memorable and spiritually resonant. The combination of sounds reflected early humans' understanding of harmony and emotional effect. Ritual music was often closely linked to nature. Ceremonies timed with sunrise, sunset, or seasonal changes were accompanied by music that mirrored environmental rhythms. This connection reinforced a sense of harmony between humans and the world around them, deepening the significance of both the ritual and the music. Children learned the importance of ritual through participation. From a young age, they observed chants, rhythms, and dances, gradually absorbing the emotional and cultural significance of music. This early exposure ensured that traditions were maintained, passed down, and evolved with each generation. Music also helped guide ritual movement. Coordinated steps, gestures, and dances were synchronized with rhythms and melodies, creating patterns of motion that reinforced the ceremonial structure. Through music, participants were guided physically and mentally, experiencing rituals as fully embodied events. Emotion was central to ritual music. Fast, driving beats could invoke excitement or urgency, while slow, gentle tones created calm, reflection, or reverence. The combination of rhythm, melody, and movement allowed early humans to express complex feelings collectively, providing both personal and communal catharsis. Innovation appeared even within rituals. Communities experimented with layering instruments, alternating rhythms, and harmonizing voices. These subtle variations enriched the musical experience and allowed rituals to evolve, reflecting both creativity and adaptability within cultural practice. Even today, music remains an integral part of ceremonial life. From weddings and funerals to festivals and spiritual gatherings, the legacy of early ritual music endures, reminding us that sound has always been a bridge between humans, emotions, and the world around them. Communal singing has been a cornerstone of human culture for thousands of years. Long before written music or formal instruments, groups of people raised their voices together, creating melodies, rhythms, and harmonies that bound communities and reinforced social identity. Singing in unison allowed humans to experience a shared soundscape, fostering cooperation, unity, and emotional connection. Early communal songs were often simple and repetitive, making them easy to learn and remember. Repetition reinforced participation, enabling everyone from children to elders to join in. This accessibility ensured that music was not limited to skilled performers, but was a shared experience that strengthened social cohesion. Call and response was a common feature of early communal singing. One person or a small group would sing a line, and the rest of the community would respond, echo, or harmonize. This interactive structure encouraged engagement, created rhythm, and enhanced memory, forming the basis of many musical traditions that persist to this day. Singing often accompanied work and daily routines. Whether harvesting crops, paddling canoes, or tending livestock, songs helped synchronize movement and maintain energy. The collective rhythm provided by the voice improved efficiency and made repetitive tasks more enjoyable, showing how music was intertwined with practical life. Ritual and spiritual activities relied heavily on communal singing. Voices joined in celebration, mourning, or meditation, enhancing emotional impact and creating a sense of sacredness. Music became a bridge between the physical and spiritual, allowing communities to mark important events with sound that resonated emotionally and symbolically. Children naturally participated in communal singing, imitating adults. Experimenting with pitch and learning songs by ear ensured the continuity of musical traditions. Singing together taught rhythm, melody, and coordination while also fostering social bonds and cultural identity. The human voice's versatility made communal singing rich and expressive. By varying pitch, volume, and timbre, early humans could convey different emotions, signal transitions, or add emphasis. Even without instruments, the voice alone could create complex textures and moods within a group performance. Songs were often tied to memory and storytelling. Melodies helped communities remember myths, histories, and practical knowledge. By combining rhythm and repetition, communal singing acted as a living archive, preserving culture and teaching essential lessons to younger generations. Social cohesion was strengthened through shared sound. Singing together created a sense of belonging and mutual support, reminding participants that they were part of a larger group. The emotional and psychological effects of communal music fostered empathy, cooperation, and trust within communities. Seasonal and environmental changes influenced communal singing. Songs and rhythms reflected cycles of nature, from planting and harvest to the rise and fall of daylight. By aligning music with the natural world, early humans experienced a sense of harmony and connection with their surroundings. Innovation in communal singing emerged as groups experimented with harmony, rhythm, and melody. Different vocal ranges, overlapping lines, and alternating patterns enriched performances, demonstrating creativity and adaptability in collective music making. Even today, communal singing remains a vital human practice. From folk songs and spiritual hymns to modern choirs and group performances, the power of shared voice continues to unite, inspire, and strengthen social bonds, echoing the ancient traditions of our earliest ancestors. Rhythm and movement have always been intertwined, forming a natural foundation for early human music. Long before formal instruments, humans discovered that their bodies could create sound and motion simultaneously, linking auditory patterns to physical gestures. Stomping feet, clapping hands, and coordinated movement allowed communities to express emotion, maintain timing, and synchronize activities in a deeply embodied way. Dance and music often emerged together, each enhancing the other. Early humans noticed that rhythmic patterns in sound could guide movement, while gestures and steps reinforced timing and flow. This mutual relationship created immersive experiences where participants became both performers and instruments, blending sight, sound, and motion into a cohesive whole. Work and daily activities were shaped by rhythm. Songs, chants, and repeated movements helped synchronize labor, from paddling in canoes to harvesting crops or building shelters. Rhythm provided predictability and coordination, making tasks more efficient while also transforming mundane labor into a shared, almost celebratory experience. Rituals and ceremonies relied heavily on the combination of rhythm and movement. Drumming, clapping, and chanting provided a steady tempo that guided dances, symbolic gestures, and communal participation. The repetition of rhythmic patterns helped focus attention, create emotional resonance, and unify participants in both purpose and expression. Children learned rhythm naturally through observation and imitation. By joining in clapping games, stepping in time with elders, and experimenting with movement, they internalized patterns of timing, beat, and flow. This early exposure ensured that rhythmic skills were passed down intuitively, becoming a fundamental part of cultural continuity. Communities explored complexity by layering different rhythms. Multiple participants could contribute overlapping beats, varied tempos, and contrasting gestures, creating polyrhythms that were rich and dynamic. This experimentation revealed an innate understanding of timing, structure, and cooperative musical expression. Rhythm influenced social cohesion beyond music. Shared movement and synchronized sound fostered a sense of belonging and mutual trust. When groups moved and sounded together, participants felt connected, coordinated, and emotionally aligned, highlighting the social power of rhythm. Natural cues from the environment shaped rhythm and movement. The cadence of rainfall, wind, or flowing water often inspired human patterns of motion and sound. Early humans learned to mirror these patterns, integrating environmental rhythms into music, dance, and communal activities. Expressive potential of rhythm was vast. Fast, sharp beats could convey excitement, urgency, or celebration, while slow, steady rhythms produced calm, reflection, or reverence. Rhythm became a tool for emotional communication, complementing melody, voice, and instrumentation. Innovation emerged as humans experimented with instruments, body percussion, and movement simultaneously. Combining drumming, clapping, and stepping and vocalization allowed early humans to explore intricate patterns, creating engaging and immersive experiences that were both musical and participatory. Rhythmic storytelling was another important aspect. Movement in time with sound could illustrate narratives, mimic natural events, or symbolize communal stories. By linking rhythm and gesture, humans could communicate complex ideas without language, using music as a universal medium. Even today, rhythm and movement remain deeply connected in music. Dance, percussion, and coordinated activity continue to reinforce timing, social connection, and emotional expression, reflecting the ancient discovery that sound and motion together create powerful, transformative experiences. Storytelling through song has been a vital aspect of human culture for millennia. Long before written language, music and narrative were inseparable, allowing communities to preserve history, myths, and lessons through melody, rhythm, and repetition. By combining vocalization, rhythm, and sometimes simple instruments, early humans ensured that knowledge and experience could be remembered and shared across generations. Songs often followed structured patterns that made them easy to learn and recall. Repetition of phrases, rhymes, and melodic sequences reinforced memory, while rhythm and tempo guided the flow of information. These patterns allowed even those without formal education to participate, making storytelling a communal and inclusive activity. Myths and legends were frequently communicated through song. Tales of creation, natural phenomena, heroes, and spirits were embedded in melodies and chants. Singing these stories not only entertained, but also taught moral lessons, explained the world, and strengthened cultural identity. Music added an emotional dimension, making the stories more memorable and impactful. Work songs were another form of storytelling. As humans labored together, they used rhythm and melody to coordinate movements, mark time, and describe tasks. Through song, instructions, warnings, and encouragement could be conveyed efficiently, showing that storytelling through music had both practical and artistic purposes. Songs also marked seasonal events and cycles. Agricultural communities used music to tell the story of planting, harvesting, and the changing seasons. Melodies reinforced the timing of work, celebrations, and rituals, integrating natural and social rhythms into the narrative structure of daily life. Children learned culture and history through musical storytelling. By listening, repeating, and participating in songs, they absorbed traditions, values, and practical knowledge. Singing became both a tool for entertainment and a method of education, ensuring that the community's collective memory was passed down naturally. In some cultures, songs served as historical archives. Names, events, and genealogies were preserved in melodies, allowing communities to remember long lineages and important occurrences. Music thus functioned as both art and record, safeguarding memory in a form accessible to all. Emotion and expression were central to storytelling through song. A melody could evoke joy, sorrow, suspense, or reverence, enhancing the narrative and drawing listeners into the experience. Music allowed storytellers to communicate complex feelings and ideas in a way that words alone could not. Communal singing amplified the impact of these stories. When multiple voices joined in harmony, the emotional resonance deepened, and the sense of shared history and identity became more powerful. Music created a collective memory that was felt as much as it was heard. Instruments often accompanied storytelling. Drums, flutes, and strings added rhythm, melody, and atmosphere, emphasizing key moments and highlighting emotional peaks. These enhancements helped guide listeners through the story, creating immersive experiences that engaged both mind and body. Innovation arose as communities experimented with different musical techniques to enhance storytelling. Variations in tempo, pitch, and harmony allowed songs to convey more nuanced narratives, while improvisation enabled performers to adapt stories for different audiences and occasions. Even today, storytelling through song continues to thrive. Folk songs, ballads, chants, and musical theater all trace their roots to early humans who discovered that music could preserve history, transmit culture, and evoke emotion, proving that melody and narrative are timeless companions. Music has always been a universal human expression, yet its forms, instruments, and styles vary widely across cultures. Long before globalization, each community developed its own unique sounds, shaped by environment, available materials, and social needs. While the instruments and melodies differed, the underlying purpose of music, communication, emotion, ritual, and social cohesion, remained remarkably consistent across the world. In some regions, percussion dominated early music. Communities in forests, plains, or mountains relied on drums, sticks, and clapping to create rhythm and coordinate communal activities. These rhythms often mirrored natural patterns, such as the flow of rivers or the pace of walking animals, demonstrating how local environments influenced musical style. Wind instruments appeared differently across cultures. Hollow reeds, bones, and early flutes were adapted to available materials, producing distinctive tones that reflected the character of each region. The same principle applied to stringed instruments, which were crafted from local fibers, wood, or gut, resulting in a diversity of sound that gave each culture a unique musical identity. Vocal styles also varied widely. Some communities emphasized long, sustained tones, while others favored short, rapid notes or complex polyphonic singing. Chanting, call and response, and melodic storytelling developed in ways that suited both cultural preferences and practical needs, creating a rich tapestry of vocal traditions worldwide. Ritual and spiritual music often reflected local beliefs. Ceremonial drumming in one region might invoke ancestral spirits, while in another, wind melodies signaled seasonal changes or guided communal dances. These differences highlight the close relationship between culture, environment, and the evolution of musical expression. Communal singing and participatory music were universal. Across continents, groups used shared songs to teach, celebrate, and unite, demonstrating that the social function of music transcended specific styles or instruments. While melodies differed, the goal of fostering connection and reinforcing cultural identity remained constant. Trade and migration influenced the spread of musical ideas. Instruments, melodies, and rhythms traveled alongside people, blending traditions and inspiring innovation. For example, a drum pattern from one region might merge with vocal techniques from another, resulting in hybrid styles that reflected the dynamic nature of human creativity. Children absorbed these musical traditions through observation, imitation, and participation. By engaging with local music, they internalized cultural norms, emotional expression, and communal values. This informal education ensured continuity while allowing room for personal innovation. Environmental factors continued to shape musical diversity. Different climates, landscapes, and materials led to distinct instruments, tones, and performance practices. Coastal communities used shells and water sounds, while forested areas favored percussion and hollow wood instruments, creating a rich diversity of sonic expression. Music across cultures was also a form of storytelling. Songs preserved history, myths, and social rules, adapted to local aesthetics and modes of expression. While each culture's melodies were unique, they all shared the function of transmitting knowledge and reinforcing identity. Innovation was constant. As humans interacted, experimented, and observed, musical techniques evolved. Variation in rhythm, melody, and harmony emerged, reflecting both individual creativity and collective experimentation across generations. Even today, the diversity of world music continues to inspire and connect people. Listening to different instruments, rhythms, and vocal styles allows us to appreciate both the uniqueness of cultures and the shared human instinct to create, express, and communicate through sound. Early humans were naturally resourceful, turning objects from their surroundings into musical instruments. Rocks, sticks, shells, gourds, and animal bones became the earliest tools for producing sound, allowing humans to explore rhythm, tone, and melody in inventive ways. These natural instruments bridge the gap between environment and creativity, showing that music could emerge from everyday materials with imagination and curiosity. Rocks were among the first percussive instruments. Striking one stone against another produced sharp, resonant sounds, while hollow stones amplified tone and volume. Humans discovered that varying the size, shape, or density of rocks could create contrasting pitches, offering an early form of melodic experimentation that expanded the possibilities of sound. Sticks and branches added flexibility to early music making. By tapping on logs, hollow wood, or the ground, humans could produce rhythmic patterns that complemented vocalizations and dance. The variety of surfaces allowed experimentation with resonance, demonstrating early awareness of acoustics and the creative potential of natural objects. Shells became versatile instruments in both percussion and wind categories. Striking shells produced hollow, bright tones, while blowing through carefully shaped shells created deep, haunting sounds, portable and durable. Shells allowed music to travel with communities, enhancing both ritual and recreational activities. Hollowed gourds and clay vessels acted as resonators. Shaking them or striking them with hands or sticks produced sustained sounds with rich tonal quality. Humans learned to exploit natural shapes and cavities to amplify vibrations, showing early ingenuity in transforming ordinary objects into meaningful instruments. Animal bones offered both melodic and percussive possibilities. Hollow bones could be blown like simple flutes, while solid bones could be struck to create sharp, rhythmic beats. This dual functionality allowed early humans to experiment with melody, rhythm, and texture using a single material, expanding the musical palette of their communities. Water and other natural elements also became part of musical exploration. Dripping, splashing, or flowing water provided ambient rhythms and tones that humans could mimic or integrate into their performances. By interacting with these natural sounds, humans learned to blend their own instruments with the environment, creating immersive auditory experiences. Children learned through playful experimentation. Picking up stones, tapping sticks, or blowing through hollow reeds, they discovered principles of sound intuitively. This hands-on learning fostered creativity, coordination, and a deep connection between humans and their surroundings, ensuring the continuity of musical innovation. Ritual and ceremonial use of natural instruments was widespread. Drums from logs, rattles from gourds, and flutes from bones added depth to songs and dances, heightening emotional impact and reinforcing communal participation. These instruments transformed simple gatherings into powerful experiences of sound, movement, and meaning. The combination of natural instruments with body percussion and voice created complex music. Hands clapping, feet stomping, and voices singing alongside rocks, shells, or sticks allowed early humans to layer sound, exploring rhythm, melody, and texture in ways that foreshadowed modern ensembles. Innovation was constant. Humans experimented with material, shape, and technique, discovering that small adjustments could dramatically alter tone and resonance. Over generations, these discoveries laid the groundwork for more refined instruments, demonstrating that music evolves through observation, experimentation, and adaptation. Even today, the use of natural instruments continues in many cultures. Simple percussion, flutes, and shakers remind us of the ingenuity of early humans and the timeless connection between creativity, environment, and sound, showing that music's roots are as organic as they are enduring. Even in ancient times, humans sought ways to preserve and transmit musical knowledge beyond memory. Long before written notation as we know it existed, early societies developed symbols, marks, and patterns to represent sounds, rhythms, and melodies. These primitive forms of musical notation were not only practical tools, but also a reflection of the human desire to share, repeat, and refine musical ideas across time and space. Early notation often took the form of simple marks on clay, stone, or wood. These symbols indicated rhythm, pitch, or sequence, allowing musicians to reproduce songs more accurately. While these systems were rudimentary, they demonstrated a sophisticated understanding that music could be codified and communicated through visual representation. Repetition and pattern were central to early notation. Marks or symbols were often arranged in sequences to indicate recurring beats or melodic lines. By following these visual cues, performers could maintain consistent rhythm and melody, ensuring that music retained its intended form and emotional impact. In some cultures, notation was closely tied to ritual and storytelling. Symbols served as mnemonic devices, helping participants remember chants, ceremonial songs, or narrative sequences. Music and memory were intertwined, reinforcing cultural knowledge and tradition through structured representation. Notation also facilitated collaboration. When multiple musicians were involved, visual cues allowed coordination of rhythm, melody, and harmony. Even without formalized writing systems, early humans understood that shared symbols could unify performers and create more complex musical experiences. The development of early notation reflected both practicality and creativity. Marks were designed to be simple yet informative, allowing anyone familiar with the system to interpret and perform the music. This accessibility ensured continuity, passing musical knowledge from one generation to the next with minimal loss of detail. Children and apprentices learned by observing both sound and symbol. Early training involved following visual cues while experimenting with pitch and rhythm, linking intellectual recognition with physical performance. This method nurtured memory, musical skill, and cultural literacy simultaneously. Environmental factors influenced notation techniques. Some systems were carved into durable materials, while others were painted, drawn, or etched on softer surfaces. The choice of medium affected the longevity and portability of musical knowledge, reflecting early humans' adaptability and resourcefulness. Symbols often captured more than pitch or rhythm. Marks could indicate mood, tempo, or emphasis, guiding performers in conveying the emotional essence of a piece. This integration of technical and expressive elements highlights the sophistication of early musical thought. Innovation was ongoing. As communities experimented with new instruments and sounds, notation evolved to accommodate changes in pitch range, rhythmic complexity, and ensemble performance. Early humans demonstrated a remarkable capacity for abstract thinking and the preservation of artistic ideas. Notation also allowed music to transcend immediate context. Songs could be shared between distant communities, ensuring that cultural practices, rituals, and stories traveled along with melodies. This mobility strengthened social and cultural bonds, expanding the influence of music across regions. Even today, musical notation continues to shape how music is created, taught, and shared. While modern symbols are more complex, the underlying impulse to preserve and communicate sound visually traces directly back to the earliest human attempts to capture music, demonstrating the enduring connection between memory, creativity, and sound. From the earliest moments of human history, music has been deeply intertwined with emotion. Long before written language, humans discovered that rhythm, melody, and harmony could evoke powerful feelings, guiding mood, enhancing social bonding, and providing a medium for personal and collective expression. Music became a bridge between inner experience and external reality, allowing people to communicate what words alone could not convey. Rhythm, one of the earliest musical elements, played a central role in shaping emotional response. Fast, steady beats could generate excitement, urgency, or joy, while slower, gentle rhythms encouraged calm, reflection, or intimacy. By experimenting with tempo and repetition, early humans learned to manipulate feelings within themselves and in those around them. Melody added nuance and depth to emotional expression. Variations in pitch, interval, and contour allowed humans to convey a wide range of moods, from joy and celebration to sorrow and lament. Even simple songs could communicate complex sentiments, demonstrating an intuitive understanding of the psychological impact of sound. Vocalization was particularly powerful. The human voice, flexible and expressive, could bend tone, sustain notes, or add ornamentation to emphasize emotional content. Chanting, singing, or calling within a community created resonance, allowing collective emotion to be amplified and shared among participants. Instruments further enriched emotional expression. Drums, flutes, and stringed instruments allowed humans to extend their vocal range, produce sustained tones, and experiment with dynamics. Combining these instruments with voice and body percussion created immersive experiences capable of eliciting profound feelings. Music was often tied to social and communal contexts, enhancing shared emotion. In rituals, dances, or gatherings, collective participation strengthened empathy and connection. Emotions were not only individual but social, creating a sense of belonging and reinforcing communal bonds. Children absorbed emotional understanding through music naturally. By listening, mimicking, and participating, they learned how sound could influence mood, signal intention, or convey meaning. This early exposure laid the foundation for cultural literacy and emotional intelligence through music. Environmental and contextual factors influenced emotional music. The sounds of wind, water, or animals often inspired melodies and rhythms, linking human feeling with the natural world. Music reflected both internal emotion and external surroundings, creating a dialogue between humans and their environment. Music also provided catharsis. Expressing grief, fear, or joy through song allowed early humans to process emotion safely and communally. Through rhythm, melody, and harmony, communities could navigate complex feelings, offering relief and understanding without relying solely on verbal communication. Innovation emerged as humans experimented with combinations of rhythm, melody, and timbre to heighten emotional impact. Different instruments, tempos, and vocal styles could be layered to produce desired responses, demonstrating a sophisticated grasp of emotional nuance even in early societies. Storytelling through music amplified emotional resonance. Narratives carried by song, supported by rhythm and instrumentation, evoked empathy and engagement. Music transformed stories into experiences that could be felt physically, emotionally, and socially, reinforcing cultural memory and shared values. Even today, music remains a universal language of emotion, from lullabies to epic symphonies. Its ability to evoke, amplify, and shape feeling connects us to a timeless human tradition. The power of music to move, console, and unite continues to reflect the deep emotional roots established by our earliest ancestors. From the dawn of human history, music has played a central role in forming and strengthening social bonds. Long before formal institutions or written language, humans discovered that shared rhythms, melodies, and harmonies could unify groups, coordinate activities, and create a sense of belonging. Music was not merely entertainment. It was a social glue, binding communities together through sound, participation, and shared emotional experience. Communal singing and chanting were among the earliest forms of social bonding. When groups raised their voices together, synchronized their movements, or followed shared rhythmic patterns, participants experienced a profound sense of connection. The repetition of familiar melodies and rhythms fostered trust, cooperation, and mutual understanding, reinforcing social cohesion in ways that words alone could not achieve. Drumming and percussion further strengthened group unity. Coordinated beats guided communal tasks, from hunting and building to farming and gathering. The shared rhythm synchronized physical effort and mental focus, making cooperation more efficient while also creating a shared emotional and energetic experience. Through drumming, humans learned that music could structure collective action and enhance teamwork. Rituals and ceremonies relied heavily on music to reinforce social identity. Songs, chants, and instrumentals marked key events, births, marriages, initiations, and seasonal celebrations, creating shared experiences that transmitted cultural values and norms. Music provided a framework for participation, helping individuals feel connected to the larger community and to the continuity of tradition. Music also facilitated emotional bonding. Shared musical experiences allowed communities to express collective joy, grief, or reverence. The simultaneous experience of rhythm and melody enhanced empathy and emotional resonance, fostering a sense of unity that strengthened social ties. Music became a vehicle for communal emotion, allowing groups to navigate collective feelings together. Children learned social norms and cooperation through music. Participating in songs, dances, and rituals taught timing, coordination, and attention to others. By engaging in musical activities, young humans internalized patterns of collaboration, learning how to synchronize with peers while expressing individuality within a group context. Music provided a platform for cultural continuity. By participating in traditional songs, rhythms, and dances, communities ensured that knowledge, values, and emotional practices were transmitted across generations. This shared musical heritage reinforced social cohesion, connecting individuals to their ancestors and their culture. Environmental and contextual cues shaped communal music. Rhythms often mirrored natural patterns, such as the movement of waves, the beat of rainfall, or the cadence of animal activity. By aligning music with the environment, humans reinforced a shared sense of place and belonging. integrating social experience with the natural world. Innovation in social music emerged as groups experimented with harmony, counter rhythms, and multi-layered vocalizations. These complex interactions required attention, cooperation, and mutual adjustment, further strengthening social bonds while enhancing the richness of musical expression. Storytelling through music also reinforced social ties. Songs carried cultural narratives, histories, and lessons that were experienced collectively. By listening, singing, and moving together, communities created a shared understanding of identity, values, and heritage, solidifying relationships and trust among participants. Music accompanied communal labor, reinforcing both productivity and social cohesion. Coordinated chants, rhythms, and songs turned work into a collective activity, making tasks more efficient while enhancing social interaction. Music became a medium through which effort, purpose, and collaboration were harmonized. Even today, music continues to unite people. From communal dances and choirs to festivals and concerts, shared musical experiences maintain social bonds, echoing the ancient practices of early humans. Music's ability to bring individuals together, communicate emotion, and reinforce collective identity remains as vital now as it was thousands of years ago. Bedtime Story vibe. Music has long served as a powerful tool for memory, helping early humans preserve knowledge, stories, and cultural practices before the advent of writing. Long before written records, melodies, rhythms, and repetition allowed communities to store information, transmit traditions, and ensure continuity across generations. The combination of sound and structure created an effective mnemonic device, making music an essential medium for memory. Repetition and rhythm were central to musical memory. Repeated beats, phrases, or melodies made songs easier to recall, allowing complex stories, instructions, or rituals to be remembered accurately. Early humans discovered that the brain naturally responds to patterns, and music provided an intuitive way to structure information for retention and recall. Songs were used to record history. Battles, migrations, genealogies, and important events were encoded in melody and rhythm, ensuring that communities could remember and pass on their collective experience. Music preserved memory in a dynamic, performative form, making historical knowledge accessible to everyone, even those without literacy. Oral storytelling was enhanced by musical accompaniment. Melodies, chants, and rhythmic patterns reinforced narrative structure, helping listeners follow complex plots and retain details. Music added emphasis to key moments, highlighting important lessons or cultural values and ensuring they remained vivid in memory. Children absorbed memory through musical participation. By singing, clapping, and dancing, they internalized cultural knowledge, social norms, and practical skills. Music allowed learning to be active, engaging, and enjoyable, embedding information in both body and mind. Ritual music further strengthened memory. Ceremonies that combined instruments, voice, and movement created immersive experiences that were unforgettable. By linking sensory, emotional, and cognitive elements, music ensured that essential practices and beliefs were retained and transmitted accurately. Instrumental melodies also played a role in memory. Flutes, strings, and drums provided auditory cues that marked sequence, emphasis, and transition. These cues guided performance and recall, creating structured frameworks that supported both individual and collective memory. Environmental sounds influenced musical memory as well. Early humans often mirrored natural rhythms, such as flowing water, wind, or animal calls, integrating environmental cues into music. This connection to nature helped reinforce memory by linking sound patterns to observable phenomena in daily life. Innovation in musical memory emerged as humans experimented with variations, harmonies, and patterns, and counter rhythms. Complex patterns challenged performers to remember sequences, fostering mental agility while enhancing cultural expression. These experiments contributed to increasingly sophisticated mnemonic systems. Music also preserved language and vocabulary. Songs, chants, and repeated phrases reinforced linguistic structures, aiding communication and comprehension. In societies without writing, music became a reliable repository for both verbal and cultural knowledge. Social memory was strengthened through shared musical experience. Singing and performing together created collective recollection, aligning community members in understanding, values, and history. Music acted as a social glue, ensuring that memory was not only individual, but communal. Even today, music continues to enhance memory. From educational songs to mnemonic chants and musical storytelling, the connection between melody, rhythm, and memory remains powerful. Early humans' discoveries endure, reminding us that music is not only an art, but a vessel for preserving knowledge and culture. Music has served as a source of comfort and healing since the earliest days of human society. Long before modern medicine, humans discovered that sound, rhythm, and melody could influence mood, alleviate stress, and provide emotional relief. Music was recognized as a powerful tool for restoring balance within the mind and body, supporting both individual well-being and communal resilience. Rhythmic patterns and melodies were often used to calm the mind. Gentle, repetitive sounds encouraged relaxation, slowed breathing, and reduced tension. Early humans instinctively understood that certain tones could soothe emotional distress, creating a therapeutic environment that helped communities cope with hardship, loss, or uncertainty. Songs and chants were used in ritual healing. Communities combined vocalization, percussion, and movement to address physical, emotional, or spiritual ailments. Music guided attention, focused intention, and promoted collective participation, transforming healing into a shared and immersive experience. The human voice was central to musical healing. Sustained notes, soft chanting, or melodic intonations had a calming effect on listeners, while rhythmic vocalizations could energize or motivate. Voice provided an intimate, immediate connection, allowing the healer to communicate directly with those in need through sound. Instruments enhanced the healing process. Drums, flutes, and stringed instruments produced vibrations that resonated with the body, creating a sensory experience believed to restore balance and harmony. The combination of tone, rhythm, and timbre allowed music to address both emotional and physical states, offering holistic support. Participation in music amplified its therapeutic effect. When individuals joined in singing, drumming, or dancing, they experienced a sense of release and connection. Communal engagement fostered social support, reducing feelings of isolation and reinforcing the collective bonds essential for well-being. Children learned early that music could comfort and heal. Through play, singing, and listening, they internalized the soothing and energizing qualities of sound. This early exposure established an understanding of music's emotional and physiological influence, ensuring the knowledge was passed through generations. Environmental influences shaped the practice of musical healing. Sounds from water, wind, and natural surroundings were incorporated into melodies, creating a harmonious relationship between human and environment. Mimicking these natural patterns provided familiarity and reassurance, enhancing the healing experience. Innovation in healing music emerged as communities experimented with rhythm, melody, and instrumentation. Different combinations were found to evoke specific emotional or physical responses, demonstrating an intuitive understanding of the connection between sound and health. Rituals often integrated music with other healing practices. Movement, herbal remedies, and meditation, combined with singing and instrumental performance, creating holistic ceremonies that addressed multiple aspects of human experience. Music acted as the binding element, unifying physical, emotional, and spiritual care. Storytelling through healing songs reinforced cultural knowledge and coping strategies. Songs recounted lessons, moral guidance, or cautionary tales, offering wisdom alongside comfort. Music ensured that both practical and emotional learning was preserved within a communal and supportive framework. Even today, music remains an essential tool for healing, from therapeutic drumming and sound baths to music therapy and meditation. Humans continue to harness the ancient power of rhythm, melody, and communal sound. The early discoveries of music's restorative qualities endure, reminding us of its timeless role in promoting health and emotional balance. The evolution of music has always been closely linked to technological innovation. Long before the development of modern instruments, early humans experimented with materials, shapes, and techniques to enhance sound, control pitch, and expand expressive possibilities. From simple percussion using rocks and sticks to the crafting of flutes, strings, and resonant chambers, technology has continually transformed the ways humans create, experience, and transmit music. Early innovations often arose from observation and experimentation. Humans noticed that hollow wood, stretched fibers, or taut animal skins produced distinct tones when struck, plucked, or blown into. These discoveries led to the creation of instruments that extended the human voice, allowing for longer, more sustained notes, richer textures, and more complex melodic structures. Resonance and amplification were central technological insights. Hollowed objects, such as gourds, shells, or clay vessels, enhanced sound volume and quality, providing more projection for communal performances. Even without understanding physics formally, early humans grasped the principle that shape and material affected sound, shaping their instruments accordingly. Stringed instruments represented a major technological leap. The tension, length, and thickness of fibers or gut could be adjusted to produce different pitches, enabling the exploration of scales, melodies, and harmonies. These innovations laid the foundation for complex music, allowing individuals to experiment with multiple notes simultaneously and explore richer tonal combinations. Wind instruments, such as flutes or horns, were crafted with careful attention to size, material, and airflow. By manipulating openings, length, and bore, early humans could control pitch and timbre, adding expressive capabilities that complemented voice and percussion. Such experimentation demonstrates a deep, intuitive understanding of acoustics and human ingenuity. Percussion instruments also evolved through technology. Early drums and rattles were refined to produce consistent tones, adjustable volume, and resonant sounds suitable for both ritual and recreational use. The ability to craft instruments for durability and reliability ensured that music could be performed repeatedly and maintained over generations. Communities experimented collectively with technological innovations. Sharing techniques for creating, tuning, or modifying instruments fostered cultural exchange and inspired further creativity. Collaboration accelerated the development of new sounds, rhythms, and instruments, demonstrating the social as well as technical nature of musical evolution. Children learned instrument making through hands-on experimentation. By observing elders, trying different materials, and testing sounds, they developed both technical skill and creative intuition. This informal apprenticeship ensured the transmission of musical knowledge and the continuity of technological innovation. Environmental resources influenced the design and materials of instruments. Forested areas provided wood and reeds. Coastal regions offered shells, and caves provided natural resonant spaces. Humans adapted their technology to the surroundings, demonstrating a flexible, resourceful approach to music making. Innovation extended to combining instruments with vocalization and movement. Ensembles explored harmony, layered rhythms, and dynamic expression, creating immersive soundscapes. This interplay between technology, body, and voice enriched communal experiences and expanded the expressive range of music. Music technology also facilitated memory and transmission. Instruments and notations allowed songs, rhythms, and rituals to be preserved, remembered, and shared across generations. This technological support reinforced cultural continuity and enabled increasingly complex musical structures. Even today, the influence of technology on music remains profound. From ancient crafted instruments to digital synthesizers, recording devices, and software, humans continue to use technology to explore new sounds, enhance performance, and expand the emotional and social power of music. The roots of these innovations lie in the resourcefulness and creativity of our earliest ancestors. The legacy of early music is woven into the fabric of human culture, shaping not only artistic expression, but also social, emotional, and cognitive development. From the first rhythmic beats and vocalizations to the invention of instruments and early notation, music has left an indelible mark on humanity, influencing the ways we communicate, celebrate, and connect with one another. Even today, the echoes of these ancient practices resonate in every corner of the world. Early music fostered communal identity and cohesion. Shared songs, dances, and rituals reinforced belonging and cultural continuity, creating networks of understanding and trust. These foundations of social bonding continue to influence modern music, from traditional folk gatherings to large-scale concerts, reminding us that music has always been a unifying force. Storytelling through song ensured the preservation of culture and knowledge. Melodies and rhythms encoded history, myths, and moral lessons, allowing communities to pass on vital information without written language. This oral tradition laid the groundwork for the rich diversity of musical narratives found across the world today, demonstrating the enduring power of music as a repository of memory. Music nurtured emotional intelligence and well-being. Through rhythm, melody, and vocal expression, early humans could communicate complex feelings, alleviate stress, and celebrate life. The therapeutic effects of music, whether in ritual healing or communal celebration, remain relevant in contemporary practices such as music therapy, meditation, and mindfulness. The invention and refinement of instruments highlight human ingenuity, from simple rocks and sticks to flutes, drums, and string devices. Technological creativity expanded the expressive possibilities of music. These innovations not only enhanced sound, but also provided avenues for experimentation, improvisation, and personal expression, inspiring generations of musicians to explore new horizons. Rhythm and movement continue to be central to human experience. Early humans discovered that music could synchronize labor, coordinate social activity, and enhance emotional engagement. Today, dance, marching, and group performance still rely on these principles, demonstrating the timeless connection between sound, motion, and communal interaction. Early musical experimentation encouraged creativity and adaptability. Communities continuously explored new combinations of melody, rhythm, and harmony, discovering patterns that resonated emotionally and socially. This spirit of exploration laid the foundation for the incredible variety of musical styles, genres, and traditions that exist worldwide today. Music also provided a medium for education. Songs taught children language, cultural values, social norms, and practical skills. The combination of repetition, melody, and rhythm facilitated learning in a deeply engaging and memorable way, showing that music was one of humanity's earliest tools for informal education. The integration of music with ritual, work, and leisure illustrates its versatility. Early humans experienced music as a holistic part of life, not confined to performance alone. This multifaceted role continues in modern societies, where music accompanies daily routines, ceremonial events, entertainment, and personal reflection. Music connected humans to their environment. Early instruments, rhythms, and melodies often mirrored natural sounds, linking cultural practice with ecological awareness. This connection deepened the human experience, fostering a sense of harmony with the world that continues to inspire composers, performers, and listeners alike. The universality of music reflects its enduring power. Despite differences in instruments, styles, or cultural context, humans everywhere have relied on music to communicate, express, and connect. The universality of rhythm, melody, and emotion highlights music's fundamental role in defining what it means to be human. Ultimately, the legacy of early music is one of creativity, connection, and continuity. From the simplest beat to complex ensemble performances, music has shaped human experience across millennia. By studying and appreciating its origins, we gain insight into our shared past, celebrate the diversity of cultural expression, and recognize music's timeless ability to move, heal, and unite us all.